I'm recording this at 3 in the goddamn morning. Outcome Memories lore sucks. I hate working with the Outcome Memories lore. I would rather deep fry my balls and staple them to a wall than do it again. Oh, but sarcasm. Think of the money you made. Oh, damn, you right. Listen, Outcome Memories obviously isn't a story game. I know this, but it bugs me that it supposedly has lore, and then proceeds to shit all over it, and it makes my job 1,000 times harder. Okay, you know what? Breathe. You can't break the terms of your parole like this. At least wait for something worth it. Okay. So, the Outcome Memories lore. I've been trying to pin it all down. It's been my goal for about 6 months now, and I'm not about to give up on it now. This is a video that is not only going to include more information and make other information as streamlined as possible, it's going to take all of my theories and fit them together in a nice, cohesive video for those who haven't seen all of them, because let's be honest, some of them are very, incoherent. Wasabi. Note that this is not a compilation. I fully rewrote everything and gathered new footage to make everything as coherent as possible. Before we start, I want to talk about some things I mean about the lore being absolute bullshit to work with. If you don't want to hear this, you can just skip to this timestamp for the beginning of the timeline. Okay, so some of the BS that I had to work with actually made my theories better, I can't lie, and then some of them just like make no sense, like Tails being retconned from the 2011 X world to actually being from the TD universe, which makes just no sense because these characters are supposed to be the classic version of these characters. TD takes place in the Archie universe, meaning that those are the modern versions, so it don't make no sense that Tails is the only modern version of the cast. Oh my god, I hate this. Also, a lot of people seem to think these theories are canon. They're not. They're me having fun. Like, what? So take everything I say with enough salt to fill up the ocean. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into the absolute beast that is this video. The Void is a construct outside the normal physical realms of Mobius and everything else. From what we can gather, the Void itself is an alive being, especially when taking Fleetway's speech into account after he gets defeated. He says, word for word, "Heh, don't act so surprised. Now did you really think I'll go down this easily? I can still do this. I have time. Why do you defy me, world?" Fleetway himself acknowledges that the world is alive, as it can defy his will. That being said, before Outcome Memories takes place, the Void got bored, or hungry, or whatever its intentions are, so it began looking. Eventually, it found 2011X in his game, 2011X being a sadistic monster willing to kill anything for the fun of it. Honestly, he was the perfect target to bring in. With him, the Void also brought in the vessels that 2011X was toying with. This is hinted at through cosmetics of the vessels, things like Jake's scarf and the empty Amy vessel. And at first, everything seemed fine. 2011X was doing his job, the Void was being kept happy, and everything else was fine and dandy. But there was a problem. It seemed that no matter how hard the vessels fought back, they would never survive for very long. Knowing Alan and pretty much every other vessel, this really isn't that hard of a stretch, especially with 2011X having at least a little bit of influence over the Void itself with his own power by being able to literally stop the timer itself for a time. This led to there being very little entertainment value for the Void, which eventually influenced its decision to cast the vessels away into a much deeper part of itself, where light never reaches, and they will never be able to escape. Now, for the Void to have true entertainment, it will require survivors who can actually fight back, hold their own, and be strong enough to survive long enough to appease it. So it turned elsewhere, and eventually, it found some. Real Mobians who would be able to keep up with the God's onslaught. Tails from the disaster, and the rest from indeterminate origins. Given that these aren't technically from any official timelines, with the only real thing we know about them is that they're the real Mobians and not vessels, we can't really make an assumption that they're from any of the actual games. But what we can say is they are all the classic versions of these characters. Well, except for Tails, of course, because for whatever reason he's the modern version. 2011X saw this, the fact that the Void could just reach into any reality and take whatever it wanted. So now he bides his time, to be able to eventually obtain full control over the Void's power to forever have victims. Though for now, he cannot influence it in such a way, which is why he stays complacent for now, even if that is outside of his normal character. The Void's games are simple. It craves a spectacle. It wants the survivors to put up a fight, but not too much of a fight that makes killing them impossible. That's why the exits open at the end of every match. It doesn't want there to be senseless slaughter, not for no reason, anyway. It wants to be entertained. This is why rings are given to the survivors as a reward for doing well, or leaving the team behind and promptly dying. These rings can be used to buy certain enhancements to themselves, and while they are completely cosmetic, they would help keep the survivors themselves engaged to keep them playing because at least they're being rewarded for their efforts. I say these are real cosmetics rather than them only being a gameplay feature because of how the Void itself directly affected Colossus. It made him look a lot more intimidating than he did in the Disaster, turning him from a blocky shape to a much more intimidating hulking mass. It even praises the survivors or berates them if they do what it wants or don't want. This fact is even exacerbated by the fact that last man standings are a thing. If the survivor is the last one alive, then obviously they wouldn't last very long, so the Void itself gives them buffs to be able to fight and fend for themselves long enough for the exits to open and for them to escape. That doesn't sound like the work of a world that wants them dead necessarily. It sounds like a world that wants them to entertain it by any means necessary. This is even more shown by the ability to kill Fleetway. Normally this wouldn't be possible, it's literally supersonic after all. The Void takes Fleetway away when he's had enough of a beating. Again, Fleetway literally says this. Because the Void does not want senseless slaughter, it wants the survivors to be able to fight back. No matter if they die, win, escape, kill Fleetway, they will always end up back here for them to fight the next game. Tails himself says so in the trailer for 0.2.
You've escaped. You will just be brought back. I've seen it happen countless of times.
This means that they remember every past match, which will become important later. Sonic remembers, Knuckles remembers, and everyone else remembers, as confirmed through several last man standings. Though, eventually, there comes to be a problem. With how the games are set up, the Void realizes that, with enough practice, the survivors can end up countering 2011X's shenanigans because they fought him so much, and since they remember every round, that makes it hard for the games to be manageable if they're smart with how they play. So the Void introduces new threats. Colossus, a heaping brute from Tails' world. Tripwire, one of Eggman's old creations with the malevolent soul of a girl, confirmed by Eggman's voice lines.
You stubby little traitor! I'll have you shredded after this!
And Fleetway. Fleetway himself is important. See, Fleetway is a strange oddity among the EXEs, as he isn't technically an EXE. He is a being that requires chaos energy to survive. The Void, understanding this, makes sure that Fleetway is supplied with said chaos energy. This would soon become a problem though. Sonic knows that he can go super, and seeing the super version of yourself would cause issues. Especially since he is often the hero in most stories, he would realize that if he could somehow harness the energy in the Void, maybe with Eggman's or Tails' help, he could go super and save everyone in the Void. The Void obviously wouldn't like this, so it does the simplest thing it can do. It takes Sonic's memories. My main proof of this is that in his LMS theme, Don't Blink, he shows remorse and says himself that he won't be able to bring them back.
Souls you toyed with, started with violence. You think this were to hold it from me? There's no mercy left no more. Nothing can bring them back.
Not only this, but he also has a passive guilt for his LMS. Meaning that he would, well, feel guilty for not being able to save them. It doesn't make sense that he keeps this trait all the way through 0.2. Sure, in 0.1 it made sense. He wouldn't have had the time to realize that it was all a game, but in 0.2 he had the time to figure it out. Meaning that sometime between 0.1 and 0.2, he had to have his memories wiped every game. And what better time to do this than with Fleetway's introduction? I think the time this started happening was actually around the time the 0.2 trailer released, where he has this to say about Tails' ramblings.
I've seen it happen countless of times.
Whoa, hold on a minute. How do you even know all this?
And I know it specifically targets Sonic, not Knuckles, Tails, Amy, only Sonic. The best way to show this is through, again, the LMS themes. The only two LMS themes who didn't change come 0.2 is Tails and Eggman. Tails because he's already been through this before in the disaster, so he has no reason to change how he feels about it. And Eggman because he just doesn't care about anyone, including Metal. Remember, this is classic Eggman. He doesn't care if it doesn't further his goal. Knuckles literally talks about the time loop. Amy goes from panicked to melancholic, and every other theme changes as if they've been dealing with this for a while. Except Sonic. Sonic seems to have a character arc, but in reverse. He is kept behind for whatever reason, and I believe that reason is because the Void doesn't want to lose its game, so it keeps Sonic in the dark about everything that's happening. This even explains why Shadow was removed from the game, probably banished, or put back into the You Can't Run facility. If Sonic has had a lot of exposure to Shadow, they might be able to deduce it, regardless because of Shadow's innate Chaos Energy abilities. And while Shadow doesn't have a Chaos Emerald in the Void, even only being able to use Chaos Snap, and not Chaos Control, it wouldn't matter. Sonic would realize what he would have to do, or at least have a better chance to. So the Void banished Shadow. For now, anyway. And now, the Void has been treading carefully ever since. There are several things it has to keep up with. Fleet wastes Chaos Energy not tipping off Sonic, wiping Sonic's memories every round, and keeping 2011X in check. If any of these broke out, or stopped working to the Void's plan, then all hell could break loose. 2011X gaining control would doom several worlds across several timelines. Sonic going super could break everyone out. It's a lot for the Void to handle, and I think that one day, somehow, something is going to snap. And that's the ultimate theory, or rather my clicking to place everything that's happened so far. All of my theories together into one, more or less, cohesive video. It's more cohesive than the Outcome Memories lore is right now, anyway, which honestly isn't that high of a bar, but you know, whatever, it's fine. I don't think we're going to be getting anything more relevant since the game is cancelled, but I'm proud of my ability to make the dumpster fire that is the OM lore into something semi-cohesive. This is my last lore video. I'm never making another lore video unless something happens in the final batch, and then I have to make another one, which would suck, but I hope not. Anyway, if you liked the video, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it, subscribe, and join my community Discord, and I hope to see you in the next one.